Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the second episode of the Joshcast. I just saw Solo, a Star Wars story, last night with my buddy Fody. If you guys don't know Fody, he's been on a few of my songs. He's got some great music. Just go follow him on Spotify and YouTube if you haven't already. So before we get started, I wanted to say a couple things. First thing is the Joshcast is now available on the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone. I'm working on getting it to Spotify. I'm waiting for it to get like approval, basically. But yeah, you can just search Joshcast all in one word and you'll find it right there. Second, this podcast is going to be kind of all over the place. It's the first time Fody and I have sat together and recorded a podcast. Basically the first time I've done a podcast with somebody else. And in general, the second time I've made a podcast episode at all. So apologies if it comes across as a little rusty. We're going to be working on making it so much better over the next few episodes with whatever guest I have on or whenever I have Fody back on. You know, we're still getting the hang of things. It's going to end up being pretty good over the next few episodes. Probably by the 10th episode, we'll have it down pat. Also, if you don't want the movie to be spoiled, you may want to wait till you've seen the film before listening to this because there are some huge spoilers ahead. We kind of just jump all across the plot of the movie. We're not really going at it in super chronological order with the plot, but yeah. So just pop open a Baja Blast, enjoy the ride, and I'll see you on the other side. All right. Well, first off, before you do the plot though, let's just talk about the movie really quick, like first impressions. Okay, so
overall rating first. You want to give an overall rating? 3, 2, 1, 6.
5.5.
Yeah, it was a 5 or a 6. Wasn't bad. Plot was all over the place. Gambino's acting was trash. That pretty much wraps up the podcast.
Oh, okay, well, it was better than I was expecting it was going to be because, like, whenever
His acting?
No, the movie.
Okay. I was going to say, dude, no way.
Yeah. The movie was better than I was expecting it was going to be. Lando's acting was actually worse than I was expecting. I thought he was going to be the best part of the movie because, like, this whole time, you know, he's dropping all this stuff. He's dropping This Is America, and I just expected him to just nail it with Lando. This is, like, the first time we've seen Gambino do something that's not that great.
Right. It's like they pointed him in a bad direction, which is my theory because I like Gambino. I like Donald Glover. And so I'm going to hope that the writing was bad.
It was like a really bad impression of Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, there was one scene. If my phone didn't die, I would have written it down, but there was one scene where he slipped into this like accent. You remember that?
Yeah.
And it sucked so bad.
I didn't notice it at first, and I don't even think.
Right, it's like he was going in and out of an accent. That's really amateur.
Because at first he was like, "Everything you heard about me is true."
Yeah, he played the sly, cool guy, which was all right.
I thought that line itself was pretty dumb. Like, "Everything you heard about me is true."
One guy told me you had a small dick.
Yeah. The movie itself, though, I thought it was better than I was expecting because the whole time all this stuff is going on about the movie. I don't know. You've probably seen my texts about it, wherever I'm like, this movie looks ass. Han Solo doesn't look like Han Solo. But yeah, it was better than I was expecting. And the part that I thought was going to be the weakest, which was Han Solo himself. What was his name? Alden Ehrenreich?
I forget, but he was actually pretty good. Besides the "I'll come back" scene.
Yeah.
Shit, are we not doing spoilers for a certain amount of time?
No, we're doing spoilers.
This is straight spoilers, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The beginning scene whenever they escape, but only Han escapes. The girl Kira, the girl from Game of Thrones,
left behind.
Yeah, she gets left behind, and he like has a Tommy Wiseau moment. You know what I'm talking about from The Room? Yeah. The acting was like that over the top, but aside from that, that was his weakest point in the entire movie. Everything else was really solid, and I thought he did a good job. And I heard Harrison Ford even said he nailed it.
Yeah, one of the first things you brought up to me when we heard that they were doing this movie, you were like, dude, look at the guy. It's going to be so bad.
He looks like he has fetal alcohol syndrome.
He's like 5'6", dude. You remember that? That was like the first thing.
I think I even sent you like a screenshot of Harrison Ford's height versus his height. Yeah. And it's like Harrison Ford, 6'2", Alden Ehrenreich, 5'9".
Yeah. He ended up being like the highlight of the whole movie. He was actually pretty good.
I thought it was going to be Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian was going to be the saving grace of the film, that and Woody Harrelson, and it turned out that I didn't like either of those.
No, they both sucked.
Yeah, it was like
it was
Woody
trash.
Harrelson was the same guy.
Yeah.
Lando Calrissian was just very underwhelming, and he put on this weird accent. And outside of the accent, though, was there anything really defining about his character? It just didn't seem like there was anything. The only thing that I thought was kind of funny was whenever she takes his cape and she starts like putting out the fire. Kira does, and he's like, "That's my cape. It's custom made." But yeah. So I guess let's just get into the plot of it.
The plot a little bit.
Yeah.
Read a little bit. Write some stuff down, or you just want to keep doing the podcast?
No, let's just keep doing it. Don't like read directly from Wikipedia, which is what we're doing right now. But don't.
So,
just reads the entire plot on Wikipedia. but
so the movie starts out super strong, with they're trying to escape this planet, and
it's Han Solo's home planet of Corellia,
right.
and this was the thing. Both you and I, we wanted the movie to actually continue in this time period. It was kind of annoying that it did jump 3 years ahead, because this would have been a really solid starting off point for the film if this was the beginning of the plot, and then he was trying to get her back the whole time. I thought that would have been more interesting.
Yeah, I was pretty invested at this point.
Yeah, it was
and
cool.
Then they moved on and didn't wrap up that plot until she gets reintroduced later.
Yeah, and the other thing too was even that weird villain thing that was in the water, at the beginning. I actually kind of liked how weird it was. I liked how dumb and weird it was. That weird sea monster thing that came out.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. It was almost like they were taking a risk with something weird. They weren't trying to make it in anything normal, like this villain that Paul Bettany was. I honestly kind of would have liked it if there was some sort of weird creature thing, and if they had done more of that, I thought that would have been great. But
yeah, and even the scene when he threw the rock, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
He threw the rock and it did the vampire thing,
right.
with the sunlight. I thought that was great. The movie started off really strong, but then
it took a turn.
It took
Not
a turn.
A good one.
Fast forwarded 3 years later, Han Solo's in the Empire. He's working for the Imperial Academy or whatever. He's an infantryman in the middle of this war. He wanted to be a pilot, but he couldn't make it. And then that's where he runs into Woody Harrelson, this lady, and then this weird four-armed monkey guy. Okay, so yeah, Han Solo runs into Woody Harrelson while they're in the middle of this battle. They decide that they're gonna steal this what is it called?
Unobtainium.
Coaxium. it basically unobtainium from what was it called? Avengers Avatar.
Yeah. Avengers Avatar. That was the one.
Yeah, Avatar Infinity War.
Well, you missed a point. So basically, Han figured out that Woody Harrelson, whatever the guy's name was actually a thief.
Is it Beckett?
Something.
Yeah,
was actually a thief.
Yeah, because he's wearing dead man's clothes.
Right. He was wearing clothes with blast holes in them or whatever. And so he figured out that he got him off a dead guy, and that they were there and weren't
for
actually
a heist.
part. Right.
They're gonna steal all the coaxium.
And he's dying to get out of there because he didn't get accepted into pilot.
And he's a giant pussy. He does not want to work for the Empire. So then Woody Harrelson, he outs Han Solo as a traitor, and they throw him into this pit, and that's where he meets Chewbacca. And
right, so they throw him into the pit where the monster it kills everybody. Yeah. And it turns out the monster is Chewbacca, and which looks strangely like a dude for some reason. I didn't really like that. I know you didn't mention anything about that.
I didn't agree. I didn't think that it really looked like. I mean, Chewbacca's kind of always looked like that. It might have been the mud,
it might have been the stringy hair.
Yeah,
I think that was one of the problems.
Yeah, but I thought this was one of the cringiest parts of the movie was whenever Han Solo goes.
So it was all right. So here's a conspiracy type thing. Was that an accident, or was he actually speaking it, or did he just yell and Chewbacca thought that he spoke it? That's what I never knew. I never.
Are you trying to assume that they actually put any sort of level of thought into that? Do you think that they actually tried?
Giving them a lot of credit. So basically, what happened was Chewbacca's kicking the shit out of Han Solo,
and he's about to drown him. He's pushing his
head
into the mud.
He's pushing his head into the mud, and he grabs his throat. And Han goes or something.
Dude, it was
like
so
that.
Bad. That was,
and you could tell Chewbacca thought that he was speaking whatever language that.
But he
Chewbacca
definitely
speaks.
knew it because he understands him throughout the film. He definitely knew the language.
That's what confused me. But in the actual scene, it played off like he was just yelping. Like that's how it sounded in the scene. It was like he's just yelping because he's being drowned.
And the other thing that I don't understand is,
what I
is
mean?
that this creates a plot hole for the entire universe of the past Star Wars movies. Is why doesn't he talk to Chewbacca like that all the time?
Right. Yeah. That was the whole thing that started me on my bunny trail. Like that was the whole thing was like he got the shit kicked out of him for like 5 straight minutes before he was being choked, and
Why didn't he do that once he saw Chewbacca?
That's what
He's
I
just
just
like,
said. That's what I just said.
Yeah.
I was like, why
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
he immediately have just like, thank God it's this guy, I know his language or whatever. Yeah. So that's why I thought it was a yelp, and Chewbacca thought that, but then it doesn't make sense that he would know.
Yeah, because he keeps talking to him throughout the whole thing, and even in that scene, he keeps on talking to him like that, like while Chewie is like carrying him and shit. He's just, I thought that was weird, and I've never seen a human speak like Wookiee in the entire series of Star Wars.
There's gonna be a lot of people that disagree with us about the whole Chewbacca encounter. A lot of people are gonna love that.
Yeah, a lot of the normies are gonna be like, "Oh, I thought that was hilarious.
I thought that part was the greatest.
I almost choked on my popcorn. I choked on my Coke slushy."
I almost spilled my tea all over my lap.
Yeah, people will like what they like, but for us, at least for me, I don't know how you feel, but I thought,
man, don't pin me on that. Don't pin me.
I thought
like
it was
that,
funny.
dude.
I thought it was funny for like 2 seconds.
I didn't like it. I'm just saying there's gonna be a lot of people. You wait for those comments, bro.
I
People are gonna.
I don't care. I thought Chewbacca was funny and you didn't. Okay, that'll be the highlight of my day when I wake up. Whenever I read that, yeah. But anyways,
So it keeps going. What did it do from there?
oh yeah, so they end up carrying out this train heist. They and that's where we get introduced to the Marauders who intercept their train heist.
How did the train heist get introduced into the film?
That was the whole point of them going to Kessel afterwards, because see, it gets stolen by those Marauders. Remember? So all right. So for the people listening, so what happens is, Han Solo and Chewie, they break out of this like prison cell thing, and then they go and find Woody Harrelson and his whole group trio thing, and they pick him up in the ship, and then they decide to take them on for this heist that they're doing, and in doing so, it's going pretty well. You know, they like take the ship apart. They get all the coaxium that they want and everything for this mission for, you know, Paul Bettany's character. So that happens. Everything's going as planned. You know, Chewbacca almost gets hit by a rock, but then oh wait, you know, he's in all the other movies, so why would he get hit by a rock? And then this group of Marauders comes who looks just like Kylo Ren. And they intercept, they try to take it, and then Han Solo at the last second he detaches the ropes from this big cart of coaxium, and then it blows up, and then Woody Harrelson says, you know, hey man, we gotta fess up to this Paul Bettany guy. We gotta fess up to Vision from Avengers, and you know, he's gonna blast us to death.
So Han Solo didn't know this. Just to clarify, Han Solo didn't know this during the mission. They thought they were just stealing it to get rich, and then Woody Harrelson informs him that they were hired to get the coaxium.
And so then they go on this like cruise ship thing, this like weird floating yacht thing, and that's where they're going to meet Paul Bettany to fess up and explain and try to get another chance at getting this coaxium. And on top of that, they run into Kira. They run into the girl that Han Solo was with in the opening in the first 3 hours of the movie, or the first 3 years or whatever before. And and from there, I mean, I don't know. I was about to fall asleep at that point. It was.
That was when I fell asleep and woke up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, is there anything notable that we can really talk about from that point up? Because
it's just all big one big blank until Darth Maul. You know?
Yeah.
Like really.
Yeah, and yeah.
So, anyways, they go through this stupid talk with what's the guy's name? Beck. Vision.
Oh, Paul Bettany. Yeah.
Paul Bettany. They go through this, so they convince him that they can get it back and that they have this whole plan or whatever.
And then he agrees. He lets them do it, but Kira has to go with them.
Right.
And then they decide, oh wait, we need a ship.
Solo's stoked because he thinks he's gonna get laid.
Yeah. And so then they realize they need a ship, and they go to meet Lando, which that kind of introduces us to the hard part that a lot of people might disagree with us. I don't know. I don't really care. But so like we get introduced to Lando and his robot L337, which is that's the worst name. That's pretty fucking awful. You get what it's a reference to, right? Like L337. It's like gamer speak, from 2006.
No.
Like, okay, so like gamer talk. This was like the beginning of like LOL and LMAO. Well, for this one, for like gamers, it was like L337, which is elite. It's like elite, It was like the Halo Call of Duty gamer speak in like 2007 or 2006, and some out of touch writer was like, okay, let's name the robot Elite L337, and on top of that, the robot was one of the most annoying parts of the film. I hated the robot. I was actually happy to see it die, and everything about the robot was just annoying.
The line when the robot was like, "I found my true passion." Remember that?
Yeah,
when the robot she released it released it freed all the people from the mining whatever it was,
the Kessel mining place.
So basically, they took over this place and she freed all the slaves. She freed all the slaves.
It doesn't matter. It's fucking bullshit. So yeah. She frees them and then she says this like cringy line of like, "I found my purpose. You all are liberated." And the one that I thought was just ridiculous. It was the line where Orlando or Han Solo he goes, "Hey, you need anything?" And then she goes, "Equal rights."
Yeah, I know. I didn't get that.
I thought that was just ridiculous. Like I get what she was alluding to, which was like droid rights, and a lot of people have been talking about that online. But there was nothing that like alluded to that before she said that. There was nothing that could like actually.
It did not make sense in context. I'll put it that way. Like like whatever you believe on that one, it doesn't matter. It didn't make sense in the movie for sure. And in context, it was just like, what? It just felt like it was there for like.
It was a
audience.
really forced joke,
right?
And it was almost like they were catering really hard to be funny, for a certain crowd, and it just didn't. It was just didn't deliver. It wasn't funny, and then and then she dies and becomes part of the ship. I thought and like that was something that kind of irritated me about how like L3 dies. And her navigation systems become part of the ship. So now Han Solo is not that great of a pilot. It's just that he has this amazing navigation system from a robot, and that's it. Yeah, they really could have cut out the character. There would have been nothing there. The only thing that it did was just like save them from this stupid 3-second threat of a monster, and I don't get like why that was in there in the first place anyways. Like they run into this monster while they're escaping the Empire from leaving Kessel. Like,
well, they ran into two things. They ran into was it the mom or the moth? I thought they called it the mom. I swear to God.
Oh, I have no idea.
That big thing with a lot of eyes.
Yeah. I have no idea.
I'm sure we're skipping over
just
so
a big
many,
tentacle
like,
monster.
Literally, I'm drawing blanks on like what the plot was. Like we just skipped through the whole movie. Like it's
no. We're just bringing up various things, and like this will be scattered. Like there's no question about it. Like I'll mention that in the beginning, but yeah. So like I just thought that the monster thing was the dumbest. It was so stupid. Like they're going, and it was just thrown in there for the idea of like this has to be a spectacular action scene, and they have to have a threat, and like it couldn't just be the Empire.
Yeah, I didn't get how the monster died either. So they released the escape.
It got sucked into the gravity thing. There was this like weird gravity thing.
Before that, they
into.
Released the escape pod.
Yeah, so to distract it.
And distract it. It ate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so they just distracted it into the hole.
Yeah. Whenever they dropped it, it pulled it into the hole, and then the monster went after it. And yeah, it was like I just don't get why the monster was even in there in the first place. It felt like they had to put in a tentacle monster because it was some sort of parallel they were drawing to do you remember the. You remember the Force Awakens whenever they fight those tentacle monsters with Han Solo in that cargo ship?
No. When What was that?
The Force Awakens, episode 7. It was so like Rey and Finn, they go on.
Oh, I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Vaguely.
those weird like tentacle monsters. It was almost like they did that for the purpose of just a callback. They were like, "Oh yeah, this happens to Han in the future." That's also what I felt like they did with the with that gang of marauders that they team up with at the end. The mask looked just like Kylo Ren. Yeah, the girl's mask. It looked just like Kylo Ren, and it was almost like they just did that for the future parallels or whatever. Like they were just doing it as like George Lucas. It's like poetry. Everything rhymes. Have you seen that?
No.
Pull it up.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
YouTube?
Yeah.
What's the?
George Lucas. It's like poetry. That's all you need.
Kind of duplicating the Luke Skywalker role, but you see the echo of where it all is going to go. And instead of destroying the Death Star, he destroys the ship that controls the robots. And again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme, the stanza kind of rhymes with the last one. Hopefully it'll work.
And that's what I was drawing a comparison to with like everything that happens to Han Solo or whatever. It's like a future comparison, or it's like poetry. Everything rhymes. It was like an out of touch writer who has to make as many comparisons as possible. Like there's so many coincidences for Han Solo, and
Yeah, I think that started with the whole meeting of Chewbacca too. Like I got that vibe from like there on out. It was very much like that.
Yeah, like how so? I thought it was with whenever they picked Han Solo's name. That was so stupid. It was like it was supposed to be this like epic moment. Like he's sitting there up at the registration center or whatever, and the guy's like, okay, so what group are you affiliated with? And he's like, I'm not with anybody. I'm just by myself. And he goes, yeah. So he goes, okay. Han Solo.
Yeah.
It was just stupid, man.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb.
Like, why couldn't his name just be Han Solo in the first place? Just don't even like that's kind of the thing. I get it's an origin story, but I don't care.
They almost tried to explain too much for sure.
Yeah, I don't care. And they did it with his blaster as well.
Did that to like make up for the plain plot.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
was just a heist movie, and it followed every single plot element of a heist movie. If you think about it, like first off, they got to get the shit. Doesn't work out the first time, they got to do it again over somewhere else. The same thing as what happens in heist movies, and then someone betrays them. Oh man, it's just like a fucking heist movie.
And he anticipated the guy betraying him.
Okay,
it's a good one.
Probably the worst line in the movie.
You got it.
Yeah. Okay. So.
All you.
So, let's take it back a little bit. We have all this foreshadowing. This very clever foreshadowing, might I add. It was
subtle.
Yeah, it was very subtle. It's Woody Harrelson, he's like looking directly at Han Solo, and he's like, always anticipate your opponent's every move.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson could have winked after every line in the movie. He could have
just straight up said, "I'm going to betray you."
Yeah.
And that would have done it. That was basically what he was doing. Is looking fucking directly at Han Solo, and then what do you know? He betrays him, and like this was the thing about the audience in this movie versus like every other audience that we've dealt with, because we see movies like mostly opening night, and usually we get some pretty rowdy audiences who audibly react to the movie. I didn't hear a peep out of anybody in this movie. I
didn't even hear a laugh.
Yeah.
Nobody laughed.
Yeah, nobody laughed. I think we were the only ones who laughed at shit.
Yeah, it was more confusion when they tried to make a joke with an awkward silence after for a few seconds.
Yeah, so back to this Woody Harrelson thing. Yeah. So like just awful foreshadowing. He's like, you have to anticipate your opponent's every next move. Never trust anybody. That's what I'll tell you. You should never trust me. I'm going to betray you. Always be looking around your shoulder.
The only one you can rely on is yourself.
Yeah, it's just stupid, man. So fucking what do you know? He betrays him, and then Han Solo, like, he looks over his shoulder and he goes, "Well, joke's on you. I anticipated you betraying me, so I betrayed you
After
betraying
your
me."
56 comments telling me to anticipate this.
Yeah.
I finally did.
I finally took a hint after the 57th comment of you alluding to betraying me.
Right.
And so again, this was just like a standard. If it wasn't Star Wars or whatever, it would just a standard movie. Like it just a pretty normal movie.
Yeah.
And
I don't even remember a lot of it. Like that's, like I'm having trouble pulling up.
well, the issue for me is I remember almost too much because like
I wish I didn't remember it.
no no like I feel like I remember almost like too much. Like the movie felt really long, and I felt bored throughout the film, even though not a lot happened. It felt like there wasn't a whole lot that happened.
Yeah, but it always kind of kept you feeling like behind, like the movie.
Yeah.
Like you never really knew what was going on throughout the whole movie.
That
like
could just be our 85 IQs.
Yeah,
we were like,
might be it.
what's happening? Huh?
I don't know. They never really went through fully with a plot.
Yeah,
Like
and like the other thing is, I was getting used to them explaining me the plot every 5 seconds. I was getting used to Lando explaining the plot. Whenever they're in the ship, he was like, he would just make these really long-winded statements that didn't sound natural at all. He would just be like, "You have to do this and that and that, and then we're gonna go here and do that," and it just didn't sound like anything a normal human would actually say. And like that was how they were getting away with explaining the plot at first, and it was almost like halfway through they just decided, oh wait, we can't.
We're gonna stop.
Yeah, we can't explain every plot point through dialogue, so now we have to just let the audience figure it out. So like it kind of threw me off in that regard, and that was whenever I started having trouble like picking up on shit. It was after they left Kessel, and they did the Kessel run.
You know what I didn't understand is
This movie.
this movie. The if Woody Harrelson was pitted against him the whole time.
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
Why wouldn't he say anything?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
If he was pitted against him the whole time, if he was going to betray him, why wouldn't he say anything to make him believe that?
No.
You get what I'm saying?
It wrecks the whole plot, though.
How him betraying him?
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense. Like
I thought it made sense after he said it 58 times. I was like,
but-
oh wow,
but-
he's
but
betrayed
think
him.
about the movie as a whole. Like it doesn't make any sense that like he was on what's his face's side the whole time. That just it leaves it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like the plot was he was supposed to deliver a package, the package got destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever, right? So then what was how does that make any sense?
And I thought the
You know?
exchange just didn't make sense at all because like
he decided to turn around and get Han Solo. So what was his goal if he didn't decide to do that? You know what I mean? Like it ruins everything else for the movie.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing that I thought was gonna happen was he was like after Woody Harrelson double crossed basically everybody, wherever he shoots the guy, takes the coaxium and loads it up with Chewbacca. I was expecting him to bring Han Solo with him as well. Like he didn't have any reason not to. It was just like it was weird that he decided to take Chewie and not Han Solo.
I think he just took him as like muscle or whatever.
Yeah, it was just it was kind of weird. Like
it wasn't necessary. It didn't make any sense. There was
Yeah.
no personal gain besides like.
And Chewie could have just ripped his arms off in 2 seconds if he wanted to. Like there's no
right,
real
it doesn't really make any sense that Chewie would betray Han Solo.
Yeah.
Like he could have easily killed Woody Harrelson.
I don't know. This movie was
long.
Yeah, how can you look up the runtime of it? Because it felt long but short at the same time. I couldn't tell you what to make of it.
Two hours and 15
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
I told you.
Oh, yeah.
I like 1 hour and 20 minutes. I turned to you and I was like, "Yo, how long is this movie?"
Yeah. I remember we were in the middle of the Kessel Run thing, and you were like, "Dude, how long is this fucking movie?" Like, yeah, and it's kind of weird that it's 2 hours and 15 minutes for such a quick plot.
Right.
Like the plot was so simple and everything, and
It just dragged on.
it could have easily been an hour 25, an hour
The last
30.
20 minutes of the film could have been cut entirely.
Yeah.
Like they were just like, talking about like what was next, talking about how much more money they can make off ticket sales with future films or whatever, the whole rebellion thing with the Marauders.
Darth Maul.
I didn't get bothered by that part a lot. Darth Maul was a cameo, or is that a cameo? Is that what that's called? Not really a cameo, just a...
He just kind of forced his way into the film.
I don't know what it's called. Well, fucking whatever. Anyways,
The lady like called him or whatever, and they're like, oh, here's Darth Maul. Here is the person that we were supposed to talk to now, in order to sell you the next film. And oh yeah, that was another thing I wanted to bring up about Darth Maul. I wanted to talk to you about it before the movie, but I didn't want you to be spoiled by the surprise, because I got spoiled by it beforehand. I was like scrolling through Twitter. I looked at like the Solo hashtag, and I was scrolling through Twitter, and I just saw a picture of Darth Maul in the movie, and I was like, fuck, I can't believe I just got that spoiled. But yeah, but like it doesn't really serve as much. Like, what are they setting up here? Another Han Solo movie? And if they
The
are,
rebellion. That's what I could have gathered with the whole Marauder thing. Like,
no. I get that they're set that was how they started the rebellion or whatever. I get that, but like, what I don't understand, and I thought it was kind of cool that Han Solo played a part in setting up the rebellion. I thought that was interesting. But like, the thing that I don't understand is, what are they doing with Darth Maul? Are they going to?
I think they just wanted to give some excitement to the crowd. I really do. There was no point.
Or it
could have
could
been
be
anything.
it could be this. They're doing a Han Solo trilogy.
Yeah, that's I got that. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a second one coming on. Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I wonder who the next feature is gonna be.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
The next what?
I mean, the next movie, like what's gonna be the Darth Maul of that? You know, it's gonna be something stupid.
Yeah. Well. First we have episode 9. Not looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Which like that, you know, the thing that was great about this movie is that The Last Jedi set the bar so low that we actually enjoyed, that we had a decent time with the movie. Like it was long, it was a little bit boring, it felt convoluted at times, but it wasn't a bad movie. Like if this is something, like if you're looking to go turn your brain off and shit, you're not gonna walk away with a ton of complaints. Like it might feel a little bit hokey and hammy and like cheesy, especially from Lando, but
It's not gonna ruin date night.
No,
sure.
no. Even boys' night out, you know, even cracking open a cold one with the boys, man. It's not that bad, unless you're like us who just hate movies.
You really want some in depth, you know, like a story with some depth to it. You're not gonna like it.
No.
Yeah.
And
no.
I mean, this movie was ultimately unnecessary. I feel like if they make a trilogy, it's really unnecessary. There's no point to it because we know where Han's going. There's nothing in this movie that makes me like interested in seeing another one. I only saw this movie because I wanted to do a podcast on it. Otherwise, I would have not seen this movie whatsoever. And I mean, it's bombing in China right now. It did less than 1 million opening night.
Really?
Yeah. Normally they do like 10 million.
China's results are always pretty accurate to our assessments of movies.
Maybe we should move to China, man. Maybe.
You know but have you noticed that? That's like a trend. Like whenever we see a movie and we give our thoughts on it or whatever, and then like however like it's doing, it directly correlates to how it's doing in China.
Yeah, well, that happened with The Last Jedi too. We hated that movie and it did not do very great in China. And although
how did Infinity War do with China?
It got outsold by an anime, like an animated movie or whatever. But it did well. But it got outsold by an anime. Like it was like right behind. So, and I mean, who are we to judge? Because we saw it too. And
right.
And that one wasn't like awful. It was
Infinity War.
It wasn't awful, but I didn't have. It wasn't great.
I wasn't a fan.
Yeah. I actually wrote out a review of that movie and like I recorded it and everything, and I was about to upload it, and then I realized I couldn't do it because I would get so much backlash because everybody loved that movie. It's safe to say here because there's going to be a very small select group of people who are still listening at this point,
right.
But I will say that like my critiques weren't that rough, and all I said was that Thanos could have been a better villain. They could have done better with him, and then they could have stopped explaining the plot every 5 seconds.
Yeah, or just not have done the movie. The whole thing was unnecessary.
Yeah, especially given the fact that they're going to
everything doesn't matter. They're going to rewind the time.
Yeah,
it was just making money.
Spider-Man has 2 other movies lined up. Black Panther has another movie lined up. Iron Man probably has another movie lined up. Like it. And then there's Guardians of the Galaxy has another movie lined up. All that like it's so pointless.
It was interesting because I actually, speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought about like how much if they got those writers for this movie Solo, it could have been so much better, especially with Lando's parts. It's like their writing is always really good.
Yeah, James Gunn. It felt like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It felt like a movie set in that universe, pretty much. It could have easily been like another extension of Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever.
Right, they should have like implemented that style of writing, especially into the jokes, because it was so bad. Yeah. Really inauthentic.
Yeah. This movie really tries to like make jokes and stuff, but it's just like it isn't funny. And I mean, depending on what you find funny. I mean, if you're extra normie with how you take your comedy, like sure
If you're looking to find it funny,
if you find
you'll
Marvel movies funny, you will find this hilarious. Because I felt like this was funnier than Marvel movies, but it
not by much.
Yeah, not by much. And yeah. No. You need another chair, man.
Yeah, I know. That was killing me. I'm gonna sit over here. Yeah, cool. But yeah.
God damn, I bet whoever's listening to this is like, thank God. Finally.
Final thoughts. All right, where were we in the plot?
No, don't worry about the plot. We already covered the fucking
fuck
movie.
the
If you're going to have a good time, go see Deadpool 2.
Yeah, Deadpool was awesome.
Yeah. I have no complaints with Deadpool 2. There was nothing really that stuck out with me. Go see Deadpool 2. That's
So basically, the final review of Solo is go see Deadpool.
Yeah, we give it a Deadpool 2 out of 10. So, this movie is unnecessary. You don't need to see it at all.
Deadpool 2.
Yeah, Deadpool 2. Just go see it. Other thing, where the fuck was Boba Fett?
Oh, I thought about that.
Yeah, I was sitting there the whole time waiting for that. That's who she should have called instead of Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Imagine if she was like, "Hey, Boba Fett, I need you to take out Han Solo because he's going to be a threat to me since I betrayed him."
Yeah, what was her final? Was she trying to like claim the power? She was officially like turned villain.
Yeah, she took the guy that she was boning's position. She took his position, yeah.
Right.
And it was almost like she the whole thing was pointless if they're only doing one movie, you know? That whole switch up, all that was pointless if they're only doing one movie. Like I don't care where
the
this
whole thing with the Marauders saying like a rebellion.
Yeah.
That
They
line
do
is
that in
pretty
every
cringy.
fucking movie.
Yeah,
For the rebellion, for the resistance.
We both looked at each other.
Yeah.
and then like laughed like, yeah, we can make more money.
Yeah. For the ticket sales, for the box office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is only the beginning of a war.
Yeah.
Right. It's like
you know, and I think the reason why they didn't show any of that stuff, they didn't show Boba Fett, they didn't show Jabba the Hutt, because
they're saving it.
Yeah. They're saving it for the next two movies, and all I want is an Obi-Wan movie. That's all I want.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Make an Obi-Wan trilogy. You know, tie it in with the Han Solo universe because they both take place at the same time. So this is it's just stupid. Just give us Obi-Wan, go see Deadpool, and fuck this movie. Like again, don't fuck the movie. If you see it, you like it'll be okay. I mean, I don't feel like I wasted my time. I definitely could have been doing better things. I definitely could have been doing like something else. Like I could have been learning something, you know. Could have been reading a book or something. But like, yeah, this
or like picking dingleberries out of your ass.
Yeah. I mean, there are many things that I could be doing better than seeing Han Solo. But like again, it wasn't awful, and it's just kind of there. It didn't serve much of a purpose aside from establishing another useless
it definitely
series.
Seemed filler. Right?
Yeah. This was like
it seemed like it should have been the second movie in a trilogy.
Maybe I wouldn't say that.
Imagine if the whole plot in this movie was them trying to get off the planet, and then they spent the rest of the plot on the second movie.
If the part that happened in the first like
15 minutes.
Yeah. If that it wasn't even that, it was like 2 minutes, and I was more invested in that in the rest of the movie. It would have been great if it started out with them on that planet and it showed how he escaped and everything, and it like,
and at the end of the movie she didn't. That would have been such a good movie.
Yeah, that would have been really cool.
At the end of the movie, she doesn't.
Yeah. The beginning would have been the end of the movie. That would have been great, and it would have been more tragic. And then this what that we saw would be the sequel.
Instead, they put the tragedy at the beginning of the movie and had really left like nowhere to go throughout the rest of the movie. It just kind of dragged on and seemed like it left you in a weird position the whole time.
Yeah, I just
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2, man. that seems to be the only thing to do with any actual innovation. You know, in this genre, in this like genre of summer blockbusters, Deadpool seems to be one of the only ones that are actually taking chances and doing weird things and doing things that you haven't seen 50 million times already. Because again, you know, like I've already seen this shit, you know, done before. I don't care about Lando. I don't care about Han Solo. Like I've already seen where his character leads in the first place. I don't need a trilogy about him in his 20s. I don't need it. And it feels like the Star Wars universe is becoming too convoluted. There's too many spin-off movies, and there's going to be a Star Wars movie for every year until we die. Do you realize that, right? It's not going to stop. Your children will
We'll be watching
your children will be watching new Star Wars movies every year. I hope Kathleen Kennedy, something happens to her.
Would somebody start like a new thing? You know,
What do you mean?
they've been doing this stuff since the 80s. Make a new movie.
Oh yeah, Star Wars. Yeah. The Star Wars universe has been going on since 1977.
Harry Potter did it right.
They ended it, and yeah. Well, they're doing the Fantastic Beasts thing. They showed that trailer. Could do without that. Could. Okay, guys. So we're just gonna end it there. We've talked out of our asses. We've kind of come to the conclusion that you should just see Deadpool 2 if you're looking for a good summer action movie. Maybe it's Jurassic World. We're gonna see that next week. If you guys want to, tune into the next podcast episode, it's most likely going to be that, unless I see anything in between then. And until then, you should check out Fody. He just dropped a music video actually today. Go check that shit out. But yeah, so we'll catch you guys in the next one.